You just graduate. Your yoga is still green. Your parents are crying happy tears. Your relatives are asking, so, what's your plan now? And the reality hits you like a truck. No jobs, no income, just your diploma and your Wi-Fi bill.
Oh no, I will that. Not the crying part, but parents part. But definitely the now what part.
Right? Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome back. I'm Okta and this is my partner.
Hello, I'm Kayla, and today we are diving into a topic that is super relevant, especially for you as economic students. Unemployment, or in Indonesia, pengangguran.
And no, we're not here to scare you. We're not going to make this a doom and gloom episode. We are here to break it down with real data, real talk, and hopefully some moments where you go, oh, I actually didn't know that.
Plus maybe a few jokes along the way. Because if you can laugh about the economic, what can you laugh about?
Exactly. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, Okta, let me start with a question. If someone is just sitting at home scrolling TikTok all day, not working at all, are they unemployed?
My first instinct is yes, obviously. But wait, actually, economists define this pretty specifically. You are only considered unemployed if you are actively looking for a job but cannot find one.
Exactly. So the classic TikTok scroller was just sailing and not even trying to find a job. They fall into a category called discouraged workers. They've given up looking. Technically, they are not even counted in the labor force.
Which is honestly kind of heartbreaking when you think about it. And in Indonesia, the official unemployment metric is called TPT, tingkat pengangguran terbuka. Measured and published by BPS, Badan Pusat Statistik, our national statistic body.
And here's what I think is super interesting. Unemployment isn't just one thing. There are different types.
Right, so there's frictional unemployment. That's when someone is between jobs, like they quit their old job and they're looking for something better. That's actually pretty normal and even healthy for the economy.
Then there's structural employment. This one is more serious. It happens when people still don't match what the job market actually needs anymore. Like the economic change, industries change, but the workers still didn't keep up.
And lastly, cyclical unemployment. This one is tied to economic cycles. When the economy slows down or enters a recession, companies start laying people off. We saw a huge spike of this during COVID-19.
So yeah, not all employment is the same. And some types are way more worrying than others. Good foundation before we get into the numbers. Okay, let's talk number because we are economic students and numbers are literally our love language.
Okay, so as of February 2024, Indonesia official open unemployment rate (TPT) stood at 4.82%. That translates to approximately 719 million people who are currently out of work.
719 million people. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire population of Singapore employed.
Well, right, but and this is important, the trend is actually going in a positive direction. Back in 2021, right in the aftermath of COVID, the rate was at 26%. So we've come a long way.
Progress, but there is still a lot of work to do. And here's the part that hits reality close to home for youth. Young employed, the 15 to 40 to 24 age group, their employment rate can be of 3 to 4 times higher than the national average.
3 to 4? Okay, I'm going to update my LinkedIn after this episode.
Same. But seriously, this tells us something really important. It's not just about the overall numbers. It's about who is being affected and why.
And a lot of it comes down to a mismatch. A lot of graduates have degrees, but the skill of the field doesn't match what companies are actually hiring for. That's structural unemployment playing out in real life.
And here's another interesting data point. Urban areas actually have higher open unemployment rates than rural areas, which sound counterintuitive, right?
It does, but it makes sense when you think about it. In rural areas, a lot of people work informal, small-scale farming, daily labor, side business. They don't show up as unemployed because they technically have some form of work.
Which brings us to this concept of underemployment. You have a job, but it doesn't pay enough or it doesn't use your skill. That's a hidden layer of the problem that the official unemployment rate doesn't fully capture.
So, the 4.82%, it's important, but it's not the full picture. Alright? So, Kayla, from your perspective, why do you think unemployment is still such a big issue even though Indonesia's economy has been growing consistently?
Okay, so I think the number one thing is in the skill gap. The economy is moving super fast. AI, automation, digital platforms, e-commerce, but the education system and workforce training haven't fully caught up. So you have people without that skill entering a market that's wants something completely different.
That's a really strong point. And then there's the sheer scale of population growth. Indonesia adds roughly 3 million new workers to the labor force every single year. The economy has to generate enough jobs just to keep up. And that's an incredibly hard target to hit.
And the geographic inequality is massive. Economic activity is still super concentrated in Java, Jakarta especially. So if you live outside Java, finding formal employment is significantly harder.
Indonesia has 17,000 islands, and the jobs are mostly on one of them. Not ideal.
Exactly. And we also can ignore the informal economy. Millions of Indonesians work without formal contract, without job security, without benefits. They are technically employed, but it's very precarious situation.
So, this combination of structural issues, education, geography, economic distribution, and external shocks like pandemic or global recession, it's complex, and there's no single fix.
Okay, so this is the part where we talk about hope because it's not all doom and gloom. What is Indonesia actually doing to tackle this?
So, one of the most well-known programs is Kartu Prakerja, the pre-employment card program. It combines online skill training with financial incentives for unemployed and underemployed workers. Millions of people have gone through it since it launched in 2020.
And I actually have a friend who used Prakerja to take a digital marketing course. She was struggling to find a job with her original degree. So, and now she is fully freelancing, doing social media management for local business. So, it really does work from some people.
That's such a great example. Then there's heliostasy, the government's push for downstream industrial development. The idea is to process raw materials like nickel and palm oil domestically rather than exporting them raw. This creates more value and adds jobs within the country.
And on a broader macro level, infrastructure investment developing special economic zones outside Java and digital connectivity are all part of the strategy to spread job opportunity more evenly across the archipelago.
And honestly, entrepreneurship is a huge piece of this. The government has been pushing UMKM support, small and medium enterprise programs, because when the formal jobs market can absorb everyone, creating your own business becomes a real and viable path.
Quit the job. Don't wait for the job. Quit the job. Don't wait for the job. I love the philosophy.
Same, it's a mindset shift, and I think it's a healthy one. Okay, we're wrapping up. So let's each give our one big takeaway from today's episode. Kayla, you go first.
Okay. So mine is unemployment is way more complex than just someone doesn't have a job. It's about skill mismatch, geography, economy, economic cycles, and system. And understanding that complexity is the first step toward actually solving it. Whether you are a policymaker, a business owner, or just a student figuring out your own path?
All of that. Mine is don't be discouraged by the numbers. Yes, 7 million is a big number. Yes, youth unemployment is disproportionately high, but the trend is improving, and there are more tools available now than ever. Online learning, digital platform, government programs, entrepreneurship support. The key is being proactive.
And maybe update your LinkedIn profile.
100%. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you found it helpful or interesting, please share it with a friends, especially that friends who still figuring out their post-graduation plan.
Okay, we'll be back with more episodes soon. Until then, stay curious, stay productive, and remember, the economics needs you.
Okay, see you next time. Bye, everyone.
I just had to let you know you're